Need to change your health, wealth, and mindset? We're going to do so through manifestation. Now, I'm not talking about the woo-woo BS of just think about a Ferrari and it shows up. No, I'm going to talk about what an actual Stanford neurosurgeon, Dr. Jim Doty, spent his whole life studying. How your brain really works when it comes to changing your life. And how you can start to use that same science to become the kind of man who's going to be ready to move abroad. Health-wise, money-wise, mindset-wise. So this isn't a wish on a crystal video. This is how to stop manifesting your worst fears and start manifesting the man that you actually respect. So let's start off with you're already manifesting, but probably the wrong stuff. Let's start with a hard truth. You're already manifesting every day. Now, if you wake up and your first thought is, I'm behind, nobody will truly love me, nothing ever works out for me, I'm never going to have enough money to move, who am I kidding? I'm too old, too fat, and too broke. Now your brain's listening. Your nervous system is listening. Your decisions are listening. And this Dr. Doty guy explains it like this. Your brain is always filtering millions of bits of information down to a tiny stream that you can actually focus on. What you tell yourself over and over. Now that decides what your brain looks for and what it ignores. So if your life story is, I'm the kind of guy that always got screwed, your brain's literally going to filter the world to prove that to be true. Now, you're not going to see opportunities. You're only going to see proof that you're stuck. That's manifestation too. It's just the negative kind. So before we get into the dream life in the Philippines or moving to Portugal or whatever, we got to ask, what am I already manifesting with the story I tell myself? Because you can't build an expat life on top of a story where you secretly believe you're a loser. Now let's talk about fear mode versus strength mode. Now this Dr. Doty uses some big science words, but I'm going to shrink it down, more to something I understand. He says your body basically has two modes, fear mode and strength mode. Now let me translate. Fear mode is that, a tight chest, that knot in your stomach, scrolling the news, comparing yourself to everybody on YouTube, beating yourself up for every mistake you've stuck in survival, fight, flight, or freeze. In fear mode, your brain is not thinking long term. It's not creative. It's not even helpful. It just wants you to hide or lash out or just numb out. Now then there's strength mode. Strength mode, I would say, is calmer breathing. Your shoulders drop. You feel connected to people. You feel a tiny bit hopeful. You remember, I'm human. I matter. I'm not trash. This is where your brain actually is going to work the best. You think clearer. You see options. You feel more like your real self. And I don't think you've felt that in a while. But here's the catch. Most guys who want to move abroad are trying to make life-changing decisions, all while living 24/7 in this fear mode. We think, once I move overseas, I can finally relax and I'll be taken care of in that strength mode. But life doesn't work like that. Now, if you don't learn how to shift out of that fear mode in your current life, you're going to carry that wherever you go, even on the plane. New country, same nervous system. So step one in this whole manifest a better life thing, it's simple. Learn how to shift from that fear mode into strength mode on purpose. It's not going to be perfect. It's not all day or just a few minutes every day. Now, I want to get personal for a second because I think this is going to matter. A lot of you guys watching this, I didn't grow up in perfect homes and you didn't either. And I didn't always have that mindset that I'm building today. I've been through my share of chaos, marriages falling apart, financial collapse, bankruptcy, the pattern of self-sabotage, gaining weight, losing weight, and then gaining it back again. Taking care of family, well, I couldn't even take care of myself, feeling like I was always restarting, always behind. Talking to myself in ways that, I'd never talk to another human being. There were years where I felt like I was reacting to life, not steering it. And for a long time, I didn't recognize it. But I was manifesting all those wrong things, not Ferraris or mansions. I was manifesting my worst fears. Because every time I told myself, I'm never going to get ahead, I always screw things up, and maybe this is just who I am. It's too late to change. My brain took that as instructions. My nervous system took that as the truth. I was living in fear mode every day without even realizing it. Then, and this is the funny part, I didn't start changing because of some big event. I started changing because I was watching YouTube videos, simple ones. Some red pill, some of these expat vlogs, some health, self-help, and some financial literacy. People talking about discipline, gratitude, responsibility, habits, manifestation, and mindset. And I started listening. At first, just in the background, then one day it hit me. You know what? Look, I'm either going to change the way I'm living, or I'm going to repeat the same life next year. So I tried something different, and I tried something small. I started by changing the way I talk to myself. Instead of tearing myself apart, I practice saying, I can get better than this. You know what? I'm not done yet. I'm becoming a stronger version of myself, and I can rebuild. I also stopped running from my past. I took responsibility for my mistakes, my patterns, my choices. Not to blame myself, but to give myself the power to change. And then I committed to those 3 pillars that I'm going to continue to preach: health, wealth, and mindset. And I started acting like the man that deserves a better life. I started walking more. I started eating cleaner. I started planning for a good future. I accept responsibility regardless. I started building some remote businesses, learning about things financially. I started traveling abroad in search of my future home in retirement. I developed a loving and lasting relationship, doing daily gratitude and practicing stoicism and developing a positive manifestation. Now, finding purpose as a man, being a better human without letting my past get into the way. Now, these weren't big flashy moves. They were small decisions that I started making consistently. But those small decisions, I think they rewired something in me. I began manifesting a new version of myself, not wishing, but by practicing. Better thoughts, better habits, better self-talk, better beliefs. And slowly, something started to change. I started to believe in myself again. And not with hype, not with ego, but you know what? Just a calm confidence that comes from actually doing the work. Why am I telling you this? Because look, if I can do this at 54, after all the mistakes, losses, setbacks, self-sabotage, restarts, you can too. You don't need perfection. You don't need the right childhood. You don't need to be 25 to start over. And you don't need a miracle. You just need to stop being your own damn worst enemy and start practicing becoming the man you know you can be. And if I can rebuild myself from where I was, you can rebuild yourself too. And you don't need a magic wish or the manifest everything without putting in the work. Look, you just need a quiet place, a notebook, and the willingness to stop being the old version of yourself. Now, Dr. Doty, he said something in that video that punched me in the chest. Every time you repeat a negative story about yourself, it's like you're laying down another brick in the prison that you live in. I'm too old. Brick. I always screw things up. Another brick. Women always leave me. Brick. I never have enough to move abroad. Brick. And you know what? Before you know it, you've built a wall so high you can't even see the possibility on the other side. But here's the good news. That same brain that laid those bricks can unlock that door. Not pretending your past didn't happen. I'm not saying that. But by realizing the story I've been repeating is not the only story I can live. So let's talk about how to actually do that. And not some complicated guru way. And a dude with a pen and paper in 5 to 10 minutes. So what do? You know what? Write down what's wrong. What's holding you back in your own words. List what you don't like. List those things that have put you in the position that you feel you are in. Now, what do you want to be like? Write down all the things you actually want in your life, not the Ferraris or $1 million, but where you see yourself with your health, your wealth, and your mindset. Now write those down. Like, for example, I'm becoming the kind of man that takes care of my body so he can actually live abroad. I'm becoming the kind of man who handles his money like a grown-up, and he can move overseas without running away from the debt. I'm becoming the kind of person who speaks to himself with respect, even when he messes up. So you know what? Pick one of those that hit you in the gut, of your words, not mine. That's your intention. That is what you're going to manifest, not a destination on a map, but a version of you that can thrive when he gets there. Next, let's work on the how to embed this intention, the sciencey part made simple. So here's where Dr. Doty's brain science comes in. He explains that you embed your intention into the subconscious best when you involve the multiple senses that you have and you repeat it. You're going to do a simple version. Now this sounds silly, but trust me. Every night or every morning, write this down on paper. The same sentence. I am becoming the kind of man, and then fill in that intention. Then read it silently. Now really take it in. Let it land. Read it out loud. Hear your own voice saying it. It's going to feel cheesy, and that's okay. Do it anyway. Visualize it for 30 to 60 seconds. Now close your eyes and imagine the scene, not some vague idea. I mean, see yourself in your future country. You're walking down that street. Breathing easier. Your clothes fit better. You're not stressed every time you tap your bank card. You feel grounded. Okay? Most important, feel like what that version of you feels like in his body. Now take that one action the next day that it matches it, not 100 actions, just one. Then you go on with your day. You know what? Walk 10 minutes. Skip a soda or a beer. Move $10 into your savings. Take the time, watch a 10-minute video in the language of the country you want to move to. Then go to bed like 20 minutes earlier. Now, these tiny actions are where the manifestation stops being magic and it starts being who you truly are. You're training your brain. This is what we do now. And over time, your brain's going to start filtering the world differently. You're going to notice opportunities that you used to miss. You're going to handle setbacks a lot differently. You're going to stop talking to yourself like a piece of crap when you mess up. Now that's real manifestation. That's not lightning from the sky. That is neural pathways changing habits. Now there's one more piece that this Dr. Doty talked about that men don't want to hear, but you know what? We need to hear it. We are wired for service and purpose. We feel most alive when, you know what? We help someone. We protect someone. We take responsibility in our own little corner of the world. Now, when you flip from, how do I get mine, to how can I help at least one person today. Your nervous system's going to it's going to shift into that deeper strength mode. So help one person a day. Text someone and check in. You know what? Hold the door and look them in the eye. Help your mom with something. Encourage a buddy who's struggling. It doesn't have to be big, but it does have to be real. And then, you know what? Write down 3 things that you're grateful for every night. Like a quit list. Like for me, I'm grateful I have a job. I'm grateful that this old beat up car that still runs. I'm grateful I didn't give up today. Now, this isn't that toxic positivity crap. This is you reminding your brain, you know what, life is hard, but I'm not powerless. There is still good here. That mix, intention, tiny acts, service, that's what's going to make you dangerous, but in a good way. That's what makes the kind of man who can actually handle the freedom of living abroad without blowing up his life. So, if this hits you, if you're the guy who wants to move abroad, but you know you got some health, wealth, and mind stuff to clean up, you know what? Drop a line and just say, I'm ready, down in the comments there. You don't have to overshare, just raise your hand. And if you want more videos like this about the real inner workings of building an expat life you don't have to run away from, make sure you subscribe to the Expat Review 2.0 and hit that like button so this gets in front of more guys that are going to need it. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not your old story. You are the man who decides what happens next. I'm rooting for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.